Why am I wearing this white hat? It's because I'm in Puerto Rico, and that's what you do here. And this video is about a subject that kind of relates to how I even wound up here. It's called Anger is Energy. I am an anarchist, sings Johnny Lydon. You may have heard of him. He's known more famously as Johnny Rotten from the Sex Pistols, and his biography is called Anger is Energy. That's a good title for a book by a punk rock legend, because punk rock energy is the best kind of energy. It's the energy of revolution, of bucking the system, of battling the dysfunction and hypocrisy of the status quo, and appearing to be juvenile and even destructive while working from a place of high ideals. What could be better? Towards the betterment of society. And even as you appear to be attempting to destroy society, when really what you are attempting to destroy is the hypocrisy contained within, and using yourself as the battering ram. One could make an argument that Jesus himself was or is the ultimate punk rocker. Because who was more of a revolutionary than him, and who went as far towards self-sacrifice for the betterment of all? No one else compares, obviously. And this isn't meant to be a religious video, but it's interesting that when I was considering what is attractive about punk rock energy and the punk rock spirit, it led me straight to him. Because anger is an energy. But how do we make anger the good kind of energy, instead of a self-spinning resentment that leaves us on the side of the road of failure, emptiness, and defeat? This has everything to do with how we conceptualize the story of our life and what happens to us and what happened to us, and how personal and how we frame the lack of fairness in just about everything. And it's to the degree that we see ourselves as victims of our lives, it's directly proportional to anger as a positive or a negative fuel towards the vision that we have of our life or the life we want to build. If we see ourselves as victims of circumstance, of upbringing, of discrimination, of betrayal, no matter how true any or all of those things may be, the only person identifying that way really damns is their self. There is a dream-like abstract quality to this life, and there is an undeniable connection between how we perceive things to be and how reality then responds and reflects back to us. One could say there is a living conversation going on between our consciousness and the reflection of our reality our very thoughts provoke. The concept of manifestation is hardly new, and there is already mountains of information about it, but I think something about two approaches to anger really simplifies and illustrates how manifestation operates in a way that's pragmatic and releases it from spiritual thinking into a kind of brass tacks representation that's easy to and simple to understand, like a punk rock song. Anger is energy, both positive and negative. The negative is in the viewpoint that life is happening to us as opposed to from us. And so all of life's inevitable betrayals take on the spirit of a kind of personal betrayal, or even some kind of punishment that reflects and emboldens a negative self-concept. Or to put it another way, if you perceive yourself to be a victim, life will reflect that belief endlessly, like on a loop. One could even say that seeing yourself as a victim is particularly dangerous here on whatever soul test planet Earth is, because no matter how you see yourself, there is no denying the difficulties inherent of a lifetime here. It's hard to be alive, and it's no coincidence that a society built to control its occupants justifies and encourages every step of the self-concept of victimhood. The energy of anger or resentment from the launch pad of victimhood acts as the ultimate self-whipping stick and a one-way ticket to a self-fulfilling void, which you finally arrive at alone and confused about where everybody went. Hey, where did everybody go who was encouraging me in this direction? I know this from experience. It's a con of the devil, you could say. But that very same energy, the energy of anger, when your self-concept of your life is liberated from victimhood and elevated into the sphere of co-creation with the Most High, when you view the betrayals and the lack of fairness of where you started from or how you were raised. When you view these things as a cosign from your creator that his belief in your ability to rise is so profound that he knows you can overcome anything, and in that overcoming becomes something much greater than whatever your self-concept had you measured for. When you look at it like this, our anger becomes a massive fuel source with all of the energy going into what we are building, and not from the spirit of resentment, but from the spirit of love. Look at it like this: personal training versus torture, or training versus punishment. We pay exorbitant amounts to have an expert treat us relentlessly at a gym, right? We pay for them to push us just beyond where we thought we could go. They drive us to the brink of our ability, and yet rather than being mad at them afterwards, we thank them profusely, and we pay them lots of money. We say, thank you for pushing me. And yet, if we were prisoners working in some hard labor camp, the physical extremes might not even be so different. And yet one is considered brutal and the other one a reflection of privilege. And that's all in how we are framing the experience. Obviously there are other factors in that example, but I think it makes a valid point. It's not what happens to us, but how we think about it that is most important. And the reality is reality will facilitate and co-create with you whichever of those realities you choose to move towards, whichever direction you want to go. If you look at the difficulties in your life as the Creator's way of crafting you into the absolute best version of who you were born here to become, those tests will reflect that reality back to you. But if you look at it as unfair and compare yourself with those that seemingly have it easier or better, life will reflect that back to you as well. When you know you are being tested from a place of love, care, and concern, your will to give back and give into the process or lean into the process becomes incomparable to viewing as a damning and personal punishment in an uncaring world that has no personal investment in you at all. Same circumstances, but massively different way of framing them, which makes all the difference. Anger is energy, and when you feel it as a reflection of love, you can utilize a nuclear tank in the engine of your dreams from an empowering frame. It will get you out of bed early and running like Rocky in the streets of Philly. And he's a good example here because the story of Rocky is the hero's journey towards reframing his self-concept from victim to creator, and the way his life shifted with his self-concept. For him, though, that came in the package of an opportunity that he then rose to. For us here in reality, our self-concept usually has to change before the opportunity comes. And if the opportunity comes before our self-concept changes, we probably wouldn't see it anyway. You have to plug in the phone before Apollo Creed can call you to invite you to fight the champion. Keep swinging, everybody. Thanks for listening. I tried to film this video out by the ocean. It's kind of hysterical. Maybe I'll clip it because I got walloped, but check this out. This all came as a result of me singing a song here at a convention. And it was, putting out the music and sort of came as a result, putting out that song came as a result of changing my self-concept in that way. So that was speaking from experience with that. So yeah, get rid of the victim narrative in your head. I mean, you can justify it, I'm sure, and many people can justify that narrative, but it's not healthy, at least in terms of creating the life of your dreams. Better to think of life coming from us and co-creating with the Most High. So it's not straight manifestation where you're the all-powerful one and you're doing everything. I don't really believe that. I do believe in God, and I do believe it's ultimately His will, but when you align yourself with the idea that life is coming from you as well, and that you're, I don't know, I guess I explained it. I hope I explained it, what my perspective is. When you align yourself with His will, then you're getting out of His way to help you create the life of your dreams. That's what I think. Anyway, leave comments and tell me what you think. Tell us what you think about your concept of that, and if you can relate to what I just made the video about. I am an anarchist, but be an anarchist of the soul, of the good kind. Peace out, everybody.